listening to the Chartographers.
Everybody, you're listening to the Chartographers, music-loving podcast, music-loving people, worst to first, thing that we do, ranking albums. It's fun, it's great, you should join us, except, unless you know something about something. If you don't know anything, then why? Stay away from us.
What the fuck are you even saying?
So guys, listen, we are on part 2 of our Harry Nilsson journey of ranking his entire discography. 14 albums, and on the last episode we got through half of it. We got through 7. We got through spots number 8 through 14. It was awesome. It was a great debate. But now we're down to the top 7. Before anything else, you're listening to part 2 right now. Some of you just want to know the number 1 album, I know. Please do us a favor and listen to part 1, because it had a lot of great discussions, a lot of great background, because we're just going to jump into...
We did talk about a couple of the albums that we'll be ranking right now, so...
So yeah, don't be surprised if we kind of jump right into it suddenly. We're not going to name those other 7 albums or what their rankings are, but we are going to talk about the number 7 albums that we have right here, which is his debut, Pandemonium Shadow Show from 1967, Aerial Ballet from 1968, Harry from 1969, The Point from 1971, Nilsson Schmulsson from 1971, Son of Schmulsson from 72, and Sandman, kind of surprisingly, at 1976. So we are now down to our number 7 slot. So we got 7 albums left. Taran, out of curiosity, what would you nominate in our number 7 slot?
Okay, so, I think that this, I don't think it's gonna get too much pushback, but I guess I have no idea. I would put Sandman next. It's good. It's, as we can see, it's the best of the
post-Twissy,
post-blowout albums, but it still is in that echelon.
Right.
And so while I really like a couple of the things on here, I think Will She Miss Me is stunning. I think that the orchestration and the way that the strings move on there is like really inventive almost. Like, it definitely doesn't sound like it was made by a classical composer. It sounds like, the way that the cellos are working on there is all really cool.
Something True is great, I think. I really like Something True.
I remember when I was talking with JC about it, because we got slight disagreements about the later material, but like after going back, Sandman was the only one that did surprisingly grow on me. I think as far as like his weird like post like island retirement like streak of albums, I find this one the most engaging. I think the lyrically is actually one of his better, more engaging albums in general. I think just because I think like his sense of humor actually comes through successfully through most of these songs. I think like I'll Take a Tango is like a fun kind of goofy song, where it's like one also because he's like talking shit about rock music, but like and saying he wants a tango, but the song that he's playing on is clearly not a tango.
Right. It's that weird island bullshit that we got from Do It on Monday.
Yeah.
But thankfully that's not what this whole album is.
Yeah. And the thing is that I think we were all surprised, because I feel like Sandman, there are lighter moments on the other albums, this album, he feels like he's having actual fun. Because genuinely, aside from the better version of Jesus Christ You're Tall, which was on Do It on Monday, fucking How to Write a Song, this ramshackle piece of just comedy bullshit that's amazing.
Which I love that one because it reminds me of a Ween song.
Yeah!
Like, it sounds like something like Ween could do like early on, just fucking around.
For sure.
You gotta write a song, don't play it on piano.
Basically, in some ways, it's a comedy album.
Yeah, to a degree.
To a degree. But I think that, my theoretical Trainwreck trilogy, I think they're all supposed to be kind of humorous. I think that's like definitely what Harry was going for.
Sure. This was his Neil Young Ungethin period.
And I think of those 3 records, this one is definitely the most successful at that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, because I think it has, I'm always going to like a bleak, almost post-apocalyptic song with a happy chord structure.
So, Zombie Jamboree?
Fuck you. No, I'm talking about Pretty Soon There'll Be Nothing Left for Everybody, which is about climate change, right? It's about how we're ruining the planet.
Yeah,
there's going to be nothing
something
left.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think it's a really fun melody. It's a it's a fun little ditty. It has nice production.
Once again, the
I
orchestration.
think it's also, it's not as, it doesn't have any many songs that are as like a huge drag, or even if they're not bad songs, there's not as many like downer moments
Totally,
on this. Like, whereas like some of the other ones, like, I mean, like, you get schmaltz in all Nilsson albums, but I think, like, some of them have, like, some really indulgent fucking, like, down-and-out numbers that I'm not as attached to, compared to this, where it's, like, I think it does make you feel like you're more in the party than I feel like I do when I'm in, like, Do It On Monday.
Yeah. And even, like, Ivy Covered Walls, not my favorite song, but the production choice on there, we have all these people talking in a bunch, like, kind of like this whole, like, choir, you know, like, or, you know, college group thing. I like it for at least sonically what it's trying to do.
Hey,
you know?
so what do you guys think of his accent on the Flying Saucer song?
What's up, man?
Hey, what's up, man?
Man, that's the dumbest shit I ever heard.
Yeah, so...
Flying Saucer song, you know, like...
all 6 minutes of it.
No, okay, so that's exactly what I was about to say. For a minute and a half, that could have been entertaining. Once you get to minute fucking 5 of, hey man, I
You're gonna order a drink?
can't believe, and you know, honestly,
Can't believe it.
I like this album, and Flying Saucer Song, like, really holds it back from being any higher. Like, honestly, like, it's such a waste of space.
Except that I like it when it's not fucking around, though. Like when it does like that weird, like, I don't even know if it's a chorus, if you'd even call it that. Just
when he sings.
Yeah, when he starts actually singing on it, like, it's kind of cool. But I'm totally with you, and you're like, dude, is it like really 5 minutes?
Exactly. I'm like, that's the thing is, it's even the concept, the story of the song, like, I get it, but like once you're introducing the third character,
what's also fucked up is that
Spoken word, guys.
it's fucked up that it's written. That's the weird part to me, is that if you, I remember, like, I was listening to a version of which was it, Son of Schmilson, and there's like the RCA version has like some bonus tracks, which has a different, even worse version of that on that one, and I'm like, oh wow, somebody literally wrote 5 minutes of dialogue, like down to like the improv and like the specific lines, and the line at the end, like, hey, are you Ringo Starr? When are you gonna get the Beatles together?
It's one of those things where, like, it is a terrible song.
Of course you do.
It's fucking weird.
Like
It's weird. Nowhere. It's just like fucked up and crazy.
It's
you got him
very
screaming.
hip-hop.
You got him screaming in the back. He's like, yeah.
What I also
nuts.
What I also felt about Sandman when listening to this is that I also feel like it does feel like a weird, almost natural evolution 10 years later from Shadow Show. In a weird way, just like the down and out version of Shadow Show, just like a different lounge. Like, instead of like doing like the Playboy Mansion, he's now at fucking Margaritaville, doing like the same.
John Harvey, you've made so many great points tonight. I'm just so happy. You're so.
He's almost gonna forgive for the hip hop thing. But more importantly, though, like, the thing is, Sandman, I'm kind of honestly so surprised that it is all the way up in the top 7. I genuinely am, and I don't have a problem with it. It's, like, nice. But the question is that, like, what else do we have? I know JC was throwing some fucking shade earlier at a couple different albums there, but does anyone else have any other...
Oh yeah, didn't you nominate Shadow Show?
Shadow
Yeah,
Show
and Son of Schmilson.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I mean, we're getting there, but...
Right, exactly.
They're
Anyone else?
both pretty uneven.
Does anyone
I
else have
think.
any other nominations for number 7?
I like them both.
I'm
you
cool
said
with
the point.
I think that. To be fair though, like, I could go either way. I know.
I feel like, honestly, Sandman could be a number 7 now, but I feel like The Point would have to be next. Honestly, that's kind of where
I'm like I'm between right now, Son of the Point, and That's the Way It Is. Although
Son
I would
of the Point?
Son of, no, I would or like those 3: The Point, Son of, and That's the Way, or Sandman.
I was about to say.
Yeah.
It's like, That's the Way It Is
Yeah.
was literally number 14.
Yeah.
Spoiler.
Yeah, I'm personally a bigger. I think I'd put Son of Schmilson higher than Sandman, though.
Oh, for sure, me too.
Yeah.
I would put Son of Schmilson a couple slots higher, honestly.
Genuinely, I agree.
I would be more ready to put Shadow Show if we're talking about that.
Honestly, Shadow Show or maybe Harry.
Oh, okay. We haven't even really talked about Shadow Show, so let's
before we rank. Okay.
Well, are we saying Shadow Show is possibly below?
I would not
Sandman?
be voting.
I think
I would
for me,
not
yeah,
be.
but-
yeah.
I would not be. Voting
Okay, listen.
for that.
I'm just gonna throw a vote out there for Sandman at 7. I'm just gonna do.
Yeah, I think the three of us are in agreement, so let's do it.
I think that's it. I mean, I think it's still an impressive ranking, all
Yeah,
things
and
considered.
I'm happy with it, honestly.
And I honestly, to be fair, like that's the only one I still kind of want to go back and like kind of see like what more
dig
I
in
can,
more,
what
yeah.
more I can get out of it because I'm like still finding weird things to really enjoy about that album.
Yeah.
I think the albums that I think were the biggest, the ones that grew on me the most were probably that one, Son of, and Pandemonium, are the ones that I'm like, oh, there's like way more here than I think I originally anticipated.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, cool. In that case, let's lock in Sandman, whatever JC says, it doesn't matter. Sandman at number 7. Sandman at number 7. Love that. Great. Okay.
you usually get outvoted.
I know. And we love you for it.
Yeah.
You're the Chartographers Pinata, and it's a great job that you do.
It's
I did not think those two would get above Nilsson Sings Newman, but
Yep. Hey, you know what? Different universe, baby. Dark timeline. So here's the other thing, though. Before we even rank anything or have nominations, you threw it out there. Let's just talk about Pandemonium Shadow Show. Because I have a lot of feelings about this thing. When you talk about just a psychedelic pop album, when you throw those words out there, I'm like, oh man, that sounds awesome. I want to know what that is. And I remember when I saw that Nilsson documentary so many moons ago, like immediately I left it and it's just like, dude, I gotta fucking order this goddamn box set of his because I gotta have all.
Yeah.
Go ahead. All of the goddamn Harry Nilsson albums. And so when I put on Pandemonium Shadow Show, I don't know what I was expecting. I enjoy Pandemonium Shadow Show quite a bit. I really, really do. But you know what? Every time I come back to it, every single time, almost without compare, it's an album that I'm constantly like, I should be loving you more than I am. And I honestly haven't been able to articulate why it's not like my favorite out there amazing album. There's a lot of things I really like on here. I mean, first off, it has some, 10 Little Indians as an opener is fine. I like it. You know, it's okay. But when you get into 1941, which is kind of this classic pop songwriting, very autobiographical, and especially Cuddly Toy, this dark-ass song, which is basically about, bitch, you ain't special. That's kind of the summation of it, what it is, exactly. And it's kind of amazing, honestly, for that reason. And then, of course, let's also talk about the current Nilsson themes that come up in a lot of songs. There's going to be a lot of songs about cowboys. There's going to be a lot of songs about waking up or getting out of bed. That is a lot of recurring theme that comes up a lot. So, sleep late,
Did
my
work at-
lady.
work at the bank.
I connect with Nilsson in that way because he's an alcoholic who doesn't like waking up.
same
And,
here.
yeah.
There should be more songs about waking up. I remember I've said that there should be more songs about work sucks.
Yeah.
It needs more about that, and you need songs about waking up. 'Cause,
Yeah.
you know, who needs it?
Yeah. I mean, genuinely. But the one thing, for whatever reason, I completely forgot this song was on here. And part of the reason we're like, there's a little bit of fat on Pandemonium. There is. But for whatever reason this week, I almost forgot, holy shit, Without Her wasn't a fucking Beatles cover. That song sounds like a classic the second you hear it.
Also,
very good.
I think that like that chorus on "Sleep Late, My Lady Friend" is one of my favorite Nilsson's. One where he's like, "We had the time of our lives. We did the time."
And the way the horns come in.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. When he pops up.
Yeah.
That's swelling.
Yeah.
Like this is one that I used to think was like, I was kind of like, yeah, I mean, it's cool, but it's not like, I don't think it's as developed as some of his other words. He's still learning, but I think there's just kind of like
Charm
a
to
chill
it.
factor.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that charm, and also just like, I got really into like bossa nova over like the last year, and like bossa nova was still kind of somewhat popular around this time, and you still had like bossa nova albums charting. So there's like weird shit that's like mildly inspired by like these weird like 5th and 13th chords going on there, especially like Without Her is like in a weird way the way he plays the guitar that way, Sleep Late, My Lady Friend, and there's just like this total lounge aspect.
Yeah.
Especially when you think of some of the people that might have been influenced by Harry, it kind of like reminds me of like the 2000s 10s chill wave, like dude like Mac DeMarco, like there's kind of like
Yes, totally. This
Yeah.
album specifically.
Yeah.
just stuff like that. And I used to think like I think there definitely is some fat. I think it's a little bit all over the place, but I think that like once you get into it, I think he's really on some insanely clever shit. That's like, and also on top of that, just how important it is to just his growth as an artist. I think like there's just a lot of stuff, like it is almost like the template for like the next few things, and everything is kind of an expansion
Absolutely.
of these ideas.
Yeah.
And more than because they were both covered by the Monkees. I feel like Daddy's Song was sort of an expansion of what the idea of Cuddly Toy, not concept wise,
Yeah.
but musically.
Yeah.
And then I think She Sang Hymns Out of Tune totally feels like something that would be like White Album almost, even though I know that was after that, but it feels like something that could have been on a Beatles record.
Touching on what you said, Taran, how Daddy's Song is kind of like a more developed version of Cuddly Toy, that's kind of how I feel about the whole album in terms of Aerial Ballet basically being just like a way superior version of Pandemonium Shadow Show.
I don't think you're entirely wrong on there because
they're stylistically very similar.
Right, but even in interviews they talk about like after like the Beatles were saying like, oh yeah, Pandemonium Shadow Show's the shit, Harry got way more confident, and that confidence, almost that swagger comes off on Aerial
He covered
Ballet.
2 of their songs, which I don't really care for either of them.
I think, like, She's Leaving Home, like, really, did we need a cover of that?
Yeah.
Especially because...
Or especially just, like,
it's not any better.
Or just, like, the exact arrangement is, like, the part about I mean, I really like that song, don't get me wrong, but, like, it's just, why do the same version?
Yeah.
But I think it's also when I listen to it, I think I can understand, like, why Nilsson, like, was so magnetic and why people were so interested in who this guy was at this time.
That's definitely...
I mean, Pandemonium Shadow Show is absolutely... It's the kind of album that people wanted in 1967.
And there's something, like, very original about it, particularly for its time. I like the circus atmosphere, too. That's sort of... That was kind of... Maybe not super different. I mean, I know the Beatles just did it kind of on Sgt. Pepper, but, you know...
I also really like It's Been So Long. I
Yeah,
think that's especially
same here.
that's one of the
Actually,
first. That's one of the earliest times where you're like, oh, you can fucking sing. Like he really like wails a bit on that one.
I also think that some of his most complex harmonies are just layering. I think come from these weird moments at the end of like these choruses, like that one. Like after he gets done singing and he just starts layering that is really wild.
Yeah.
I'm not really that hot about River Deep Mountain High.
Right, because
is that's not the Spectre one? The Phil Spector one's the
no, that's just the Phil Spector one's River Deep Mountain High.
But
he worked with Phil Spector actually.
That's also a classic song.
Yeah, I think it starts off all right, but once he kicks it in, I just think it's a fucking mind blowing song. Like once he starts like ramping up the vocals and like the band kicks in.
The thing is, like, I've heard a bunch of people do it better. Like, and that's when I say, you know, he is a very skilled vocalist, but like I was mentioning earlier, the actual sound of his voice isn't super distinctive. So even when he's really wailing on River Deep Mountain High, I'm like, okay, but you're not Tina Turner. You know, like you're not like someone who has like a powerhouse voice.
I don't know.
And that's what I feel like.
I think he has a virtuosic voice, but
I disagree. I think he has some insanely powerful, like just heavy ass vocals through like pretty much every album. Like, I mean, I don't think he's not like doing like
timbre-wise. I get what Taran's saying.
Yeah.
Though. How it's
like he knows. Don't get me wrong. He knows how to belt. He can sing very well, but he's not like knocking it out of the park.
I disagree.
After that breakdown in that song, like I kind of agree with John.
Like once he starts
like,
ripping,
it's pretty fucking
like,
awesome. But I still
okay. But
that song in general,
before
I'm not
anything else,
super
though,
crazy about.
I mentioned how Pandemonium Shadow Show. I enjoyed it as an album. We're in the top 6. This is a very good place. I don't keep coming back. I don't love it the same way. But honestly, when I'm looking at what we have left, though, there is one album that I would say definitely goes below it. And for me, that's got to be Harry. And, like, Harry, I feel like it's an interesting little take, because I feel like it's after kind of this confidence that he had with Aerial Ballet, he kind of goes back, he kind of, like, flips the script a little bit. He kind of goes into a little bit more introspective, a little bit more personal, a little bit more lighthearted, nostalgic. It's kind of a nice precursor, weirdly enough, to Sings Newman. I think that, you know, because there's a little bit of nostalgia kind of seeped into here, but when I look at this fucking album, I have a couple takeaways, particularly, I guess, The Lord Must Live in New York City, a.k.a., you know, everybody's talking part, you know, 1, 2, whatever
Well,
version you want to
that
talk
was
about.
the song he wrote for Midnight Cowboy. And
Exactly.
they said, no, we like everybody's talking
yeah.
about
I
it.
mean, because
So-
It's the
I like that.
it's a lesser rewrite of everybody's talking.
Yeah, kind of.
They,
I still like it.
I think
I
Harry.
like it a lot. I don't know.
Harry's maybe one of the more challenging ones to get into, but I think it's the most rewarding
Okay.
of them once you get into, because it's like also his most stripped down album. I think besides
Sings Newman.
well, I think it's the closest you'd ever get to a live Harry Nilsson
Okay.
album. Like, he doesn't really have as much of the backing vocals on there. There's like less theatrics, but he's got like the Wrecking Crew band in there. He's still got Jim Gordon on the drums. Everything's heavy, but like it's more focused on the emotion and the songwriting. So you're not gonna get like as much of the flash, and which is why it's like oh, it's cool, but like it doesn't have all this and this. But once you break down to it, I think these are some of the songs that I think he felt between this and Newman. I think just when he actually feels attached to songs and like there's a real connection there is when you actually get some of the magic and the covers and the versions that he does. And so if you could be like, maybe it's not flashy, but I think it's just his most raw album in a certain way.
The peaks on this one are really high.
Yeah.
Walk us
I
through
think
it.
Morning Glory Story. I think that's fucking
Fucking
I mean,
great.
that's
prostitutes need
absolutely-
songs too.
Morning
Well,
Glory
it-
Story is absolutely
like the songcraft.
probably my biggest takeaway from this. I agree, but I feel like this album, it just doesn't. It's very nice. It's a very consistent experience, which is why it's this high. But it just doesn't. It doesn't bring the same oomph that I get from a lot of the other things. And I think that's why we were talking about it for number 6. I personally would still put it above Shadow Show.
Oh, wow.
I kinda would too, only because I think it's more in a certain way. I don't think you get Nilsson Schmilsson without Harry in a certain way.
Even besides that,
Yeah.
I just think Harry's a more polished product. I think that
Oh, dude,
I think that I can definitely like put this on and just leave it on and listen to it and enjoy the entire thing. Even if we get some things like, Fairfax Rag, which is pretty
I like that
basic. And I think
It's like very LA,
Yeah.
that song.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's,
I think another reason why I like this album but don't love it is because there's a lot of very classic song structures on here.
It's very Tin Pan Alley.
Go very
like,
Yes.
alley, yes.
I think also one of my the thing is it also has just got another one where it's like got a few of my favorites on there kind of once you get towards the end, like Morning Glory, but also Simon Smith and his amazing Dancing Bear is just a song that just like always gets me excited when I hear it. I just think like that drum beat, like that solo outro is just like the wildest thing. And like
And wish for
Yeah.
a Randy Newman
For
song.
Ra-
yeah.
I really like that song,
Yeah.
but it also, I know that song because of when it was on the Muppet Show.
Yeah.
Speaking of childhood.
yeah.
And
Fozzie.
and that version's just so much more fun. That like I really like.
I feel like you
this
got like these
version.
nostalgia goggles.
I think these
I
two
know.
records
I
have
have a
the
lot of
same.
nostalgia goggles.
These two records have the same problems in my opinion. That the peaks are really high, but then there's also kind of like some weird covers and it's a little
A
uneven.
little bit of fat. Just a little bit of fat.
Like Mr. Bojangles.
Oh yeah, no.
Oh,
Did
yeah.
not need
No,
that.
I love that
Sorry,
song,
yeah.
but
I love that Nilsson version.
the
That
Nitty Gritty Dirt Band one, I just think is just way better.
Well,
But,
I mean,
you
that's
know.
a whole.
Well, I mean, there's also the Chet. I mean, there's a million versions of them. I mean,
Yeah.
the best
What's
one
what
is the Chet Akins version.
Yeah.
But that's what I mean, though. It's like
Yeah.
sometimes he'll like choose these
Yeah.
covers, and it's when it's like maybe a lesser known song. I'm like, okay, it's like this is like really good,
Yeah.
and I
Yeah.
think he usually has a more original take on it. But if it's something that's already been done or I've heard better, it's sort of hard to like judge it in that way.
I know,
You know
well,
what
and
I mean?
especially because
Like,
it's like with some of these songs that have been done by a million people, when he did them in 1969, it hadn't been done by a million people yet.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
still
Yeah.
novel, but we're ranking this in 2018, and
Yeah.
I think that Harry has enough covers on it. It just doesn't connect with me as much.
I think before nominating that, I'd still either put The Point or Son of Schmilsson, which I think also is about. I think all of these have the same amount of inconsistencies once you go in there.
I think Pandemonium, Harry, and Son of Schmilsson should definitely occupy the next 3 spots.
I would nominate Son of, which is an album that I think is also another very rewarding album that's also maybe off-putting at first, but once you get like past like some of it, I think there's like a lot of charm to latch onto.
Well, and I think Son of Schmielsen just doesn't open very well. I think that Take 54 is fun but pretty basic. Remember Christmas is completely disposable.
Remember Christmas is... My thing is that this one has so many goofy moments. It has the most moments that of any album are like, what the fuck am I listening to? Because
Exactly.
when he gets to like remember, he's like, it's just a dream. It's just a dream.
Well, right, he does that, and then we immediately go into Joy, which is absolutely a joke.
But it was a joke because they actually released it on RCA's country label under a different artist's name. Now, then they put it on the fucking Harry Nilsson album as Harry Nilsson.
Where's
so it's like,
opens-
what the fuck?
I met a girl named Joy.
Joy.
She took me by the hand and said, "You're my joy boy."
Okay, here's the thing though.
But it's supposed to be a joke.
Okay, but then
It's a jerk off album, basically.
like, no. See, the first 3 songs are a jerk off album,
Then you
and
get
then
to
you get Turn On Your Radio,
Yeah,
which is one of the best songs he's ever written.
All time. And here's the thing, you motherfuckers. Son of Schmielsen is goddamn great, and I mean
Mostly.
that truly. Absolutely. Here's the thing. Now, we're going to talk about, I feel like a lot of people are going to talk about Aerial Ballet in terms of how he really came into his own as a pop force. And you're going to talk about Nielsen Schmielsen, the rock album, how a lot of other voices on there. Nielsen Schmielsen, great album. I don't think it's perfect. That's one of the things I'm going to say. But one of the thing about Son of Schmielsen, it's sequel because it's called The Son of Schmielsen. He is never been so overly weird. This is his divorce album. This is the one where the lead single was "You're Breaking My Heart, You're Tearing It Apart, so fuck you." That was a lyric that was in there, which especially in 1972, that's really bold and daring. The thing is, the more I spend time with this goddamn album, the thing is like, it's weird, it's out there, it's crass. He has a bunch of senior citizens saying, "I'd rather be dead than wet my bed." Like,
Again,
what
it's
the
a jerk
fuck?
off.
Again, jerk off me, however you want to call it. But the more time I spent with this fucking thing, I'm just like, man, there's like a boldness, a brashness, and honestly, kind of like this rawness to it, where like it's played for laughs, for jokes, but also like it feels so authentic. It feels like I'm like, fuck it, I'm just gonna put it out there.
Here's the thing, I used to completely agree with you, but then I think what he was actually going for with this record, I actually think he did it better on those weird later records. So to me, those are more extreme versions of Son of Schmielsen.
I'd still get rid of about 5 songs on this album, though, is the thing.
5.
I mean, yeah,
would
the
get rid of
first 3 and the
Remember,
last 2.
Joy, Spaceman, and I'd Rather Be Dead.
You don't like Spaceman?
I like Spaceman a lot.
I like
Spaceman's alright.
Spaceman's not my favorite,
Yeah.
but I really like the, and I don't remember the exact melody of it, but the part where he's like, like,
Yeah.
I think it's really fun.
At the Lottery is actually
The
surprising.
lottery
This song is surprisingly
is a really
decent, yeah.
great melody, and it's not a melody that you've heard a lot. Like I think it's simple enough that I almost I feel like it's surprising that there haven't been more songs that have sort of taken that
template.
that template, but I really like the lottery song.
I would say my favorite song in this album is Ambush.
Ambush is
I think it's kind of like
awesome.
it's definitely
Yeah.
a nice rowdy number, and I think it's, to be honest, the only song that lives up to the quality of its predecessor.
I also really like At My Front Door.
That's a good
I
one.
like
Which the song itself is pretty unremarkable. You know, it's a pretty standard
Blues
rock,
rock.
blues rock number, but the solos on that thing.
Also, just the energy. It's like it makes up for like a basic thing with a really good energy.
It almost feels like, not to mention the Beatles too much, but it makes me think of like back in the USSR in that way, where it takes like a very classic template and then just cranks it up to 11 and really like does like the best thing that you can with that type of song.
It kind of reminds me of like early 70s Dead in a certain way. Like just like that piano performance when you get in there.
I think the middle part of this record is really strong, but I think it wanes towards the end.
See,
You know,
I like The Most Beautiful World in the World. I think is that they're all mostly fine songs that I don't feel as strongly about Save a Few.
I feel like this album, it seems really weird, like particularly for when it was made, but I think he could have gone even further with it.
I mean, this is still pretty goddamn extreme. And the thing is that I feel like this whole thing would be a weird fucking in-joke thing that's like bitter and raw and odd if it weren't for the fact that he still also dropped Turn On Your Radio on there. Because honestly, it's like, that is the kind of classic level song, almost like Without Her, where it's just like the second that you hear it, I feel like I've heard this before, like this is enshrined in songwriting halls of fame almost, right? It's gotta be. It's like that good and that clean and that's it. And the fact that he drops that on this fucking album means that he's giving a little bit more consideration than fucking jokey jerk off kind of thing.
Right.
It's a weird fucking record.
Which I think honestly, I think the, we have to remember that it was a two-sided LP, so there's a break in the middle, but I feel like sort of he put the best things in the middle on purpose, it almost feels like. To be like, here's some jerk-off jokey shit that I have, like, it's Son of Schmielson. I'm putting Schmielson in the title, so I'm clearly not taking it totally seriously.
Yeah.
Right.
But he wasn't gonna not put on the great songs that he had written in this period. And
course.
I feel like
Yeah.
that's why you get those other moments.
And we were talking earlier, even though I do like Ambush, it is also kind of a reworking of Going Down in a weird way.
Yep, that kind of comes up a lot. But I like it, though. And that's the thing. The personality that he puts out here on here is so wild and so consistent and just so defiantly out there weird that for me, it holds a lot more purpose than Pandemonium than Harry. That's like the biggest thing for me. I know it's not going to be number one, make no mistake about it, but Son of is one of my favorite albums of his.
In that case, unless you want to get back to the point, I mean, it depends on how strongly do you feel about the
Point's
point.
better than all three of those.
You think so?
The
I
Point's better than all three.
I really like The Point. I don't know if it's better than all of three of these.
Okay.
I do.
Well, great.
Okay, so are we
They're very
in agreement
inconsistent.
in general that
is
this
not.
section is
Sure, yeah.
Pandemonium, Harry, The Point, and Son of Schmielson?
I would agree with that.
Yes.
We're between these four?
Yes, I would
And
agree
that's
with
what we're
that.
arguing?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I would go, personally, I mean, just everybody throw it out
Yeah, but
there.
yeah, please.
At last, Son of the Point, Pandemonium, Harry.
So Harry would be your number 3?
I think, or I guess Harry would be number 1. Let's start, like,
Bill's 4.
going up.
So starting at number 6.
Yeah.
Probably be, I guess, let's say The Point, Son of Pandemonium, Harry.
JC?
It's so weird because, like, during the week I was listening to this stuff, and
Yeah.
this whole middle section I was like, oh, I actually like this one better than this one. Wait, no, I don't.
And now you're
it
sitting
was like,
down with it.
Yeah,
and
I
it's
feel like
yeah.
the whole week was like that except for the top
Fuck,
two.
dude, I like Pussycats the most today.
Yeah.
Which is why I was surprised when everybody's like, oh, I don't care about Pussycats. I'm like, wait, we don't care about Pussycats
What?
anymore.
What's wrong with you?
What?
I know, right? and maybe if I listened to Pussycats later tonight, I'd be like, no, I'm a fucking idiot for wanting that at number 13 or whatever the
So
fuck
you're
I said.
6, 5, 4, 3?
Shadow Show, Schmielson, Harry, and then The Point.
Okay, so my 6543 would be Shadow Show, Harry, The Point, Schmielson, Son of Schmielson.
I would say my 6, 5, 4, 3 would be Harry, probably Pandemonium, The Point, Son of.
Sounds like Pandemonium is...
Yeah, it's probably going to be the loser
Yeah.
of the bunch. Here's the thing. If we go ahead, if we throw Pandemonium at 6, I think we can maybe do that as a group, maybe.
Sure. I just think that at least, like, last thing I'll say about it, at least as far as The Point, I don't think The Point is as, even though it's a good sounding album, I don't really have anything bad to say about it. I just
You don't
don't.
have anything like overly...
I kind of find it like to be kind of like the king of limbs of the material, where it's kind of inessential in the larger story. I don't think he really did much to like develop off the stuff that he was doing.
I just totally disagree.
Like, well, how does it come back again? Like, most of it, he kind of abandons everything he did in The Point before coming back, whereas I think Harry still has more to do with Son of Schmielson and the later records.
But everything he does on The Point, he does so
for the sake of the point. Like, I mean, he's making a soundtrack for an animated
Even the music
movie.
that's under the narration,
Yeah.
I love. Like,
Yeah.
it's
Which
Well,
is just
all
like
these
instrumental
orchestral
versions of
grooves.
the other songs, yeah.
Yeah, but he also adds like little tiny production touches, like sort of the weird synth stuff you were talking about earlier, John.
Like he'll have a
Like-
flute recreate the vocal melody.
Yeah, like I don't know.
Yeah.
I just think it's a more complete album than the other three, and it has Me in My Era, which is one of his best pop songs
Yeah.
and most unique, actually, in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
So,
Well, listen, I think we're all going to have to give up a little something in order to make this podcast move on and mosey. That's the biggest thing here. I'm willing to do that, certainly, on a couple of different points. I would say, at the very least, maybe we can all maybe put Pandemonium at 6. I don't think anyone's really fighting hard for Pandemonium, right? Can we at least do that?
I don't know.
I think you're getting outvoted.
I think Son of
Yep.
Schmilson seems like a pretty good number 6, right?
Yep,
Except
so
that we all put it
Pandemonium at
way
number
harder
6.
than that,
Love it.
so-
Great. Fantastic. All right.
Hey, remember
cool.
that time he said Bad was better than Thriller?
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
I remember that.
And you know what?
I regret that
Here-
so much.
Nope.
Maybe you sure you're not making a regret right now?
Yeah, for the fucking
that's
Harry.
right.
Dude, I mean, let's do Pandemonium Thriller.
Let me assure you, Pandemonium Shadow Show is not anywhere near. I don't have anywhere near the kind of attachment, and I don't think I ever will.
Pandemonium Thriller? No, I mean, let's put it there. It's fine.
Wait, John Harvey, you just being difficult again just to make the
No,
podcast
I just
more
think
interesting?
that one. I'm kind of more confused. No, we can put it there. I'm just kind of confused on that one because that one's like still in the middle of growing on me, even though I have a much longer connection with the album Harry. So I would still think, and I still think it's a really important album.
Yeah.
And I think I like Harry more than Son of Schmilson, so.
Yeah. Well, listen, if it has to be, and again, we're putting it up here, we're at the top 5. I would love it, nothing more in life, if Son of was at fucking number 3, but you know what, if it's going to be the way it is.
That's where I'm putting it.
You are? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's so. I mean, if we want to, because John Harvey has been talking about the point for a long time.
We can put the point at number
I am fine putting the point at number 5.
I would agree.
Do you
As
think
long
Harry's
as
better than the Harry?
No, I don't
No.
think Harry is better than the point, but
Neither do I.
I'm fine with putting the point here and then putting Harry next.
Then
if we can
Son
put
of
Son of
Schmilson,
Schmilson
sure.
at 3.
We'll do it? All right, cool. In that case, let's go ahead here.
Are
In
we
terms of
all
yeah,
okay with this?
I think I like those two because I think they're the two. Son of and Harry are two tougher albums that are more rewarding once you get in there, and I think also Son of Schmilson is really important for everything that comes after that.
Yes, I would
think it's like
I would
pretty
agree with
defining.
that.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
pretty defining for like
Yeah.
later and
Yeah.
Harry.
Yeah.
I would agree with that.
And the thing
too,
is that
honestly.
I will say, and the one thing about you guys being on this podcast is that I like you guys because you are veterans of this podcast. You are not afraid to be goddamn opinionated. I appreciate that. I also love that we can talk this out too. But for those at home, that is number 7, Sandman. That is number 6, Pandemonium. Number 5, The Point. Number 4, Harry. Number 3, Son of Schmilson, which means it is down to the pop titans. It is down to Aerial Ballet and Nilsson Schmilson. The kind of the overt pop choices, but guys, the fucking songs on these goddamn albums.
Like, holy shit.
Yeah.
In both cases, honestly.
Let's just not
two completely different albums.
right.
Yeah.
And let's not even talk about ranking anything. I just want to talk about them in chronological order. Let's start with Aerial Ballet. Let's just talk about it.
So Aerial Ballet was my kind of breakthrough Nilsson record. I remember
Okay.
I remember me and JC, our girlfriends at the time were both attending Northern Michigan University, so we both drove up there, and while they were in class, we're like, oh, fuck it, like, let's go record shopping on there.
Yeah,
I remember the
Actually,
story. I remember the story.
We went to a small record store in Northern Michigan where some guy just sold basically his entire Nilsson collection.
What happened was we were like, I don't know, somehow we got talking about Harry. I don't know
Yeah.
how, but like we were looking through his stacks of records. and
Because
there's
I think
fucking
we
Harry Nilsson.
were talking
So
about Herb
I'm like,
Alpert, and he's like, well, if you like old shit, I got
What happened was we asked if he had Nilsson, and then he's like, his eyebrows went up. He's like, "You want Harry Nilsson?" And he's like, "I didn't think anybody was interested in that." And he literally fucking just brought out, like, I don't know if they were first pressings, but they were
Early.
definitely early pressings, like perfect condition Harry
Oh,
Nilsson
wow.
records.
Oh, most of them,
yeah,
too.
Yeah, like the point, it had like the booklet in it, like it had like a storybook in it.
wow.
Yeah,
Yeah,
did you get the point?
I snagged Aerial Ballet, and I forgot what the other one was.
I got Pussycats.
Got Pussy.
Of course
Of course
you
you fucking-
I think you did also snag a little touch of
Hey,
Schmilson because it was
Pussycat.
like $3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, he had most of it, like other than like the really big ones. But I think he had like Nilsson and Harry on there, which I now regret not taking.
Yeah.
But they, so that was kind of the first one on that I ever got into, and also just I think it's just like such a wondrous kind of like
Whimsical.
whimsical kind of album, and it's gonna be a weird comparison again because we're full of them. I'm full of them. They that like it kind of reminds me in a very offhand way of Off the Wall, because you know how, like, Michael Jackson and Quincy Jones just got done working on, like, The Wiz, and so I feel like Off the Wall has lots of, like, whimsical strings and arrangements going on there that kind of get understated, and I think this one has, like, a similar type of whimsy where it seems like it fits to its own universe, and it's, like, almost kind of, like, Wizard of Oz-ish with their
Totally.
goes.
So, yeah, that's... The thing about Pandemonium Shadow Show is that it sounds like Harry Nilsson wanted to do Sgt. Pepper. And
as I read one review today talking about he's basically trying to be John Lennon and Paul McCartney at the same time.
yeah, which is why they loved him. And then when you get to
Partially,
Aerial
yeah.
Ballet, it really feels like
Harry.
Not just Harry though, Harry has taken all of the best parts of late 60s pop music and internalized them and then regurgitated this near flawless like late 60s pop album. Like this is about as good as it gets for the late 60s.
Pretty
And,
fucking close.
Before you're getting into like real true rock and roll.
Yeah, this is like
when
the
you're-
end too. Like 68 is kind of when things are starting to shift away
Exactly.
from this.
Exactly. And so, you know, he does I think it's Said Goodbye to Me almost feels like it's like a Bowie impression, his like vocal
Yeah, a little
delivery
bit.
on
Yeah.
there.
Like this, yeah.
And then when you get like Don't Leave Me, it starts and you think it might be a ballad, and then he gets into that chorus, and it's like honestly some of the best vocals he's ever laid to tape.
Because I told you like I got really into like bossa nova, and this is like still like for a weird for a late '60s album like that he still do. Well, I guess bossa nova still went to '71, but like it's just like the songs like Don't Leave Me, like once it gets to that shuffle, and
Totally.
he does that thing, it's so smooth. Like you kind of like you're sucked. It's like and like you feel like you're like on the highway with the top down.
Yeah.
Like
Wailing
the
on
moment
a
that
willow.
kicks in. Yeah.
But then he's also, like, unafraid to still be his fucking whimsical Tin Pan Alley self. Honestly, the song that surprised me the most was fucking Bath this week.
Yeah.
A song about when you're out for some strange tale, you're like, oh shit, I got a job, I need to clean myself up. You know, and he hits
I mean,
the...
that interval.
That chug. That is okay. That is and has been my favorite Nilsson song for a while. It's just the one that gets me the most excited.
You know, that's a great choice.
It also started my lifelong obsession with because you don't really hear songs that short, but I'm just obsessed with songs that are like under 2 minutes. Like it's perfect. It has all these parts. Each line is like only 2 verses before it does the second verse and the chorus and the pre-chorus. And the
Minute
middle.
50 seconds?
Yep.
Done.
For 147, we're out.
Yeah.
And it's like a full fucking song in a minute 47.
Yeah.
It's like brilliant.
It's like the letter or something
And
like
that's,
that.
I mean, he was a fucking pro at that style of songwriting. I just was looking at the numbers of it, and a full 2/3 of his discography is under 3 minutes. Like, he
pretty
just
amazing.
doesn't, like, and then on his later stuff, my favorite songs are all like the 5-minute, 7-minute experiments, but like on these early records, he gets in and gets out. Like, I think that's why these pop songs are so effective, is because there's no fat. And that's the thing about Aerial Ballet as an album, is even like some of the weaker tracks on there, they're 2 minutes and 30 seconds.
Yeah.
So even if it's not your favorite, it's still like a solid melody, and then it's over and you move on to something that's incredible
And
consistently.
Next to the Beatles, I mean, like, you know, he was like one of the best at doing that.
We also need to talk about Everybody's Talking.
Yeah.
Just that vocal performance. Also, let's
That's like
be real-
greatest of all
And
time.
also,
kind
how
of
long it took me
shit.
to realize that when he does that sustain note, like the wah, like it's like, I'm pretty sure it's like 20-something vocal takes layered onto it that you can't recreate. Like, you just can't do that.
The string section has like that one sustained note that goes through like the whole song. Like, that yeah, it's just
They just kind of
the whole,
the
whole thing.
They must
is
have
like,
either looped it or had a couple different string players that were just doing like just sawing back and forth.
The
and letting it-
orchestration is so
And
dope.
Aerial Ballet is the perfect name for it because he's an acrobat.
Yeah.
He's a vocal acrobat.
Absolutely.
He's all over
the record. All over the record, he's doing vocal acrobatics.
This is his best.
Like,
This is his best record vocally, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Without it, like
absolutely.
just as a showcase for what he could do.
But, like, I remember also you guys talking about one of the worst things in history was that documentary about the Eagles and them talking about.
Oh
how
no!
they come
Worst
to-
thing. No, I recommend everybody watch it because it's fucking terrible.
And how
it's
they get to-
It's amazing.
If
It's
you,
like
if
the
you hate the Eagles, you'll hate them even
because
more.
it's like it's the most awesomely uninteresting documentary I've ever watched. Like they think it's like this cool story, and it's not, and it's amazing.
And you're talking about how like they told these stories of how these song titles came about. You know, like they're
He's
describing.
like, I was driving down the highway with Don Henley, and all of a sudden he just starts flooring it to 90, 100, 110, and I look at him like, hey, Don, what are you doing? And he just turns to me and says, life in the fast lane. Life in the fast lane.
Smash cut.
Yeah. So I think about that, and then I think about the story that goes into the making of One. How fucking Harry was on a phone call, and he heard the fucking dial tone, the beep, and he just started like pounding it out, this beep, 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 and then he just went from there. One is the
Because he's
loneliest
sitting
man.
alone
Yeah.
in his house
Yeah,
listening
to
to
a
a
fucking
dial
dial
tone.
He's like, wow, that's the saddest dial tone ever.
Yeah. And like the fact that that's the inspiration for this fucking like barely one note fucking song, and it turns into this one of his most covered, most iconic, incredible things. Hashtag 3 Dog
I mean,
Night.
and he does, like, in his defense, I talked a little earlier, it might even been
was before the
we
pod.
record- Yeah, it was before we were recording, but I was saying how, like, the 3 Dog Night version, they fucking knock it out of the park. They take that song and they explode that ending, and he does a decent job of that. Like, he heads in that direction, but he doesn't bring it home.
Right.
And
But he also wrote the song.
he also
Yeah.
he wrote the goddamn song, and I think it's so funny that this is one of the last things we're mentioning about this record.
Yeah, it's
Because
like his
it's
most
like-
famous composition,
you know-
probably.
I would argue, yeah, because all his other big hits, aside from Coconut, were fucking covers of other
Yeah,
people.
which is ironic.
I think-
Badfinger, Fred Neil, yeah.
I think just for novelty's sake, you might find more for Coconut. I think like you can
Okay,
probably
yeah,
come
yeah, yeah.
across it in the middle of nowhere,
Or like a
if
fucking
you're,
Muppets
you're on
special or
vacation,
whatever,
you're in
yeah.
Florida with your family. I bet somebody will put up Coconut. If you go to like,
Totally.
or if you grew
Yeah.
up with like the '90s Coke ads, put the lime in the coconut.
Okay, so
Yeah.
maybe that's where it came from. I remember Coconut being sung like on the playground.
Yeah.
Like children
Right.
being like, I'm in the coconut, and then they
Yeah.
like
Now let me
wrap
get
their
this
bodies
straight.
all around.
yeah.
Reservoir
Well,
Dogs.
weirdly enough, Also, Coconut, I don't know if you know this about that song, that appears on an album called Nilsson Schmilsson. And that is it. The biggest thing is that, first off, he brings in Richard Perry, outside producer, someone who's not necessarily a whimsical pop
Which
person.
was very important, though.
Yes, exactly.
Very important.
Because Harry is basically, as we've learned through his discography, he's not a good editor. He will just put songs out there for whatever fucking reason.
Well, and he also, I mean, when we were talking about, what was the Beatles cover that he put out like 4 weeks later?
Oh,
She's Leaving Home.
So She's Leaving Home came out basically 4 weeks after fucking Sgt. Pepper's came out.
Right, and so, yeah, I think that was, the point is that he does vocal takes really quickly, as we see on Touch of Schmilsson in the Night, when there was no experimentation whatsoever. He just recorded his vocals and that was it. And part of why Coconut is so good is because the producer that he brought in was like, you should do voices.
Yeah.
Like, the
Which he hadn't
original-
really considered
The
before.
first recording was just him just singing the song straight through, and he was like, but you have all these characters, like, let's bring them to life. And that's why that song is so iconic.
Let me
Yeah.
get this
Is
straight.
because of all the different, like, fun switches that it
Yeah.
does.
And he later perfected that on the Flying Saucer song.
They
Not quite as successful.
But yeah, so Nilsson Schmilsson, ultimately his most popular record, ended
Easily.
up nominated for Album of the Year '71, Best Male Vocal Performance and Packaging, if I'm
Three
not
big
mistaken.
hits.
Yeah,
Three
yeah.
huge
Or
hits.
engineering, and won Best Male Vocal Performance for the song "Without You,"
His only
which
number
is
one.
one of the greatest vocal takes on recording
Literally.
in history. It's one of the
Yeah.
most impressive things you will ever listen to. I feel like even like 50, 100, maybe 100 years from now, if somebody's like, as far as the history of recorded music, like what's some of like the amazing vocal performances, you'd find like some Freddie Mercury shit and Without You.
Which was
Yeah.
also, if the documentaries to believe, for Richard Perry, recorded in one take.
Yep.
Yeah, like that's like
After they had an
stuff-
argument or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was about to fight, maybe part ways as his producer, because Harry was trying to take control of the record and was like pulling control from Richard. He was like, the one agreement I had was like, I'm gonna lead this project, and he's like, well, I lied. And then they're kind of about to argue when they're like, oh shit, we got to be in the studio now to record this vocal take for Without You, and they just drove over to there, walked into the booth, and recorded that take.
Yeah, which is actually amazing. But the thing about it is that like a lot of people will still come back to this because this is for a lot of people the album where it like Harry became it. First off, he embraces rock music, which is not something he really did. Like there was Rainmaker off of Harry. Like there was a couple like moments that were kind of
that maybe like the ending of River Deep, sure.
Yeah, but like he never done something like Jump Into the Fire, which is like an actual rock guitar workout.
That's a classic.
Absolutely fucking incredible.
It's
so
so
like the coolest.
It's an original
ever.
It's a totally original rock song. I mean, I think even by today's standards. Also, you take artists like LCD Sound System, borderline like the template for like about half of Sound of Silver.
Yeah.
Well, especially Jump Into the Fire. Also, it's the first time where I'm like, not first time, only time in his whole discography where I'm like, this is a little Zeppelin-y.
Yeah.
Like, full psychedelic, all the reverb on the vocals, and then he just kind of and
so
is singing the shit out of it, and then they just let the guitars go.
And so about that song, like I mean, like you've got like also because Nilsson had like some of the best top quality studio musicians. You've got Jim Gordon doing this insane drumming. You got Herbie Flowers on there, and to tie that into the hip hop thing, see Jim Gordon played on a track produced by Richard Bodkin Perry, who also is a songwriter for Nilsson. The white gray haired dude in the documentary.
Yeah.
They made a song, produced an album by the Amazing Bongo Band, or the Incredible Bongo Band, which had a song called Apache, which Apache became the most sampled song in hip-hop history. Features drums by Jim Gordon, who plays on most of this album and Without You, and the bass player, Jump Into the Fire, and the bass player for Jump Into the Fire was the same person that played the bass line for Take a Walk on the Wild Side by Lou Reed, which was then sampled by Tribe Called Quest. Tribe Called Quest.
So it's just like seven degrees of the.
Yeah. Long story short, Harry Nilsson
is a very hip hop dude when you break it down.
You had a moment with Aerial Ballet. I have a feeling if I were to guess, Nilsson Spielsen is your number one, just of the sheer number of getting out of bed songs.
It's pretty much. I know you said you don't think it's perfect. I think it's a pretty close to perfect album versus the only song that I don't think is as ultra high quality is maybe Let the Good Times Roll.
Yes,
about to say that.
A genuinely
fun,
I'm so
but
surprised.
Kind of just there. I'd actually like to talk about the first half of this album.
Please.
I mean, for me, it's all about Gotta Get Up.
Yeah.
I fucking
it's almost like
love
Beatles-esque. It's
that
almost
song.
like that. Yeah.
And the way it kicks in too is like on the record, the piano part is actually kind of mixed very low. Mm-hmm. So when that bass comes in, it fucking pounds. I remember this because this was the first like Harry Nilsson record I had. Like I think I heard Jump Into the Fire somewhere, and I'm like, okay, I gotta get this fucking record. Mm-hmm. And I just remember I turned it up really loud because I thought the piano was real low. Yeah. And then when that bass kicked in, it fucking like practically blew out my speakers, and it was just like a completely mind blowing experience. This thing's a masterpiece. I agree with John that Let the Good Times Roll is maybe like the only like.
It's not a bad song.
It's good. They could have.
You're talking about some absolutely
look
brilliant
what it's surrounded
material.
by. Yeah. Like it's surrounded by like the three best songs in his catalog, basically. I mean, Early in the Morning.
Yeah,
like
that's
the
one of the early
shell.
covers here, right?
Early in the Morning. Also, because like some of the people that I used to party with in college. Luckily, a couple of them were into classic rock, and that was my morning after drinking. Because when I drink heavily, I can't sleep in, and so I always wake up between like 6 and 8 a.m. Mm-hmm. And so like I would always like wake up on there like when I still drank and smoked cigarettes. I'd like pop out on the porch, put on like hungover, put on Early in the Morning, just fucking or making breakfast and just in the morning can't do right. Just fucking like I think it's like the perfect embodiment of waking up hungover.
This is very much an album like that's sort of like that weird part of the night. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like really late, early morning. You know, the album
Yeah, it's
cover
like-
is him in the fucking bathrobe.
It's like dawn,
you know?
but you haven't gone to sleep yet.
Yeah,
That's
or
what
it's
the
just
album
like, or
Yeah.
like sun's coming up right now, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh shit.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but what's that one part on Early in the Morning when he just repeats that one phrase over and over again?
Oh,
While,
early ain't got nothing but the ain't got nothing but the ain't got
and it's just
nothing.
like, what? Wait, is my record skipping?
Yeah, he just does like a natural, another kind of hip hop move, written a natural record scratch.
Oh my god. I fucking hate you.
But yeah, so it's one of the things where, like, I mean, it's all the way straight through. I mean, of course, there's also, I mean, Coconut, I feel like it's, like, almost trivialized what we talked about. The
I will
Moonbeam
say-
song.
Except
The Moonbeam
that,
song.
except that.
Moonbeam song is just a cheap rewrite of, isn't it Me and My Arrow?
No, there's another one later that there's another
Oh,
one
no,
that
no,
later
it's,
copies
it's,
it.
no, it's fucking Think About Your Troubles. Moonbeam
shit.
song is the same chord structure and tempo and very similar melody to Think About Your Troubles, off of The Point.
Just kind of a maybe I don't know. I need to listen to that.
I still
now.
love the
I
Moonbeam
think
song.
I
I mean,
prefer.
don't get me wrong, I
still
like
prefer-
it,
yeah.
I
but
love,
I
like-
like Think About Your Troubles way more.
They're pretty close. I'm definitely more on
I'll take
Moonbeam.
It's not as good as Moonshine Band.
I will say, dude, that's
Down is underrated.
I think
Like the vocal take on Down.
yeah.
Down.
I mean, the vocal take sells that song.
It's
Honestly, I don't
insane.
think the song
It's
itself
not
is
like
that.
the greatest song in the world, but that vocal take is unbelievable.
Absolutely.
I also think that second half of like the party side of Coconut, I think is ridiculous. I don't think it gets enough credit because you know
call
you,
me in the morning,
or when he does like the doctor, do nothing I can
Yeah,
think
yeah.
of the doctor.
Yeah.
Just such a silly woman. Like just like when it like picks up the drums, it's like God, dude, it's such a gnarly jam.
And you realize how important it was to have an outside producer of this ilk, too. Someone that can, like, fully expand. Realize that every song needs a different texture, needs a different sound to it, too. And that's the one thing about this album is that even though it's clearly a Harry album, like, all the way straight through, it is, like, so many different feels
I
and
mean,
emotions,
it really, you
textures.
can really tell that he needed a producer, and it, like, I wish that he'd had one. I wish that he'd had one that wasn't John Lennon later in his career.
Yeah, John was a bad influence. I mean, it's a very focused record compared to like a lot of the other ones, particularly the later ones.
I also I also think the songwriting is like it just. I just think the lyricism is also just super fucking tight. I just think there's like really a lot to latch on there. I'm not sure if it's necessarily the funniest album on like the most humorous one, but I think it's like the most strongest personality of it. Like I think like driving along, even though like you think it could be like a cheap critique, but there's just something so fun and engaging about that. Like Yeah, I think it just
I love it.
It feels like you're kind of in the car with Nilsson.
Yeah.
Well, listen, guys, we're like coming up on the hour mark, though. So I think it's time to ask the question, though. Number 2, number 1. Fuck. I mean, like, I have a feeling there's a lot of different opinions about it. Just out of curiosity, Harvey, if you had your druthers, what would your number 2 and number 1 be?
To be honest, I think we may all already be in the same opinion.
We
about
might
what
be, but I want to
what
see.
it-
Yeah.
I think I would have to go Aerial Ballet 2, Schmilson 1.
JC,
Agreed.
Taran.
Okay, so that's what I was saying going into this.
Yeah.
This discussion, I feel like kind of swapped them, and I think Aerial Ballet might be my number 1, but I'm not gonna fight at all. if that's
I
not
mean,
the
dude,
consensus.
it's like
You don't really like Good Old Desk, though. Or do you?
I mean, no, I don't like Good Old Dusk. I think it's the weakest song on there.
I
but
love Good
also-
Old Desk. I think it's like one of the best songs on there.
But also, I think Aerial Ballet has 3 more songs than Nilsson Schmilson, and I feel like they have the same number of like Take It or Leave It tracks, and I think Aerial Ballet just has a few more songs that I want to listen to again. But like I said, they're both really good. They're totally consistent. I'm not fighting.
Yeah. There's a part of me that almost wants to put Aerial Ballet, but in terms of like looking at the albums side by side, in terms of consistency, 10 tracks, almost all killer. I think Nilsson Schmilson
I mean, it's
has
Coconut and Without You.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
I
you
mean,
can't-
But the thing about Coconut Without You is what brings people to the album. There's all the other songs that make you stay.
Also,
Sure,
I
yeah,
find that
yeah.
just before you, because I don't want to forget about it, I find "I'll Never Leave You" might be one of the most haunting songs that he ever made. Like I think, and he wrote a lot of breakup songs, but like that's like the one that I think is like the biggest gut punch, and the one where I'm like when you hear about like he kind of masks some of it, and I'm like I just like wow, like he he really just lays himself bare on there, because it's not even totally really pretty look either, or even super empathetic. Like, it's kind of angry and incredibly hurt, and like still like attached to this person. And I think it's like, for a guy that already has amazing breakup songs, I'm amazed at how brutal it is.
Yeah.
Well, guys, I think that does it. I think it's time to lock it in place. Guys, number 7, Sandman. Number 6, Pandemonium Shadow Show. Number 5, The Point. Number 4, Harry. Number 3, Son of Schmielsen. Number 2, Aerial Ballet. And the number 1 album, as we know, is the Popeye soundtrack. Make no mistake. No, it is Nilsson Schmielsen, guys. It is number 1. Guys, that is what we have ranked. We have a lot of more opinions about it, and that is why we have a happy minisode right after this. So please stick around for that. We're going to talk about things like the worst Schmielsen song, or Nielsen song, however you want to say it, and a whole bunch of other things, because he's Harry, and he's got a hell of a goddamn career.
He had a fucking life, man.
Yes.
Yeah.
In the meantime, though, if you please throw your thoughts on our Facebook page, we love hearing about those. If you get a chance, please do us a favor, rate us on iTunes. The more people that see ratings, the more it helps out the show, gets visibility, it's awesome. But most importantly, though, JC, John Harvey, thank you so much for being here. I really, really appreciate it. This was this is meant to happen, basically, long story short. Years in the making is how I would say it.
Yeah, I mean, always loved Harry, so...
Yeah, I remember, I think I was pitching Harry probably before you even started the podcast, to be honest.
Yeah.
And honestly, I gotta be honest, like, when we started, I don't think we had the maturity or the level of, like, ability to, like, do it the way that we can. This is definitely a season 3 kind of thing that we have to do.
This is kind of a tough one.
It really is, but I'm glad we did it. And guys, I'm glad that I hope that you post something so we can see what you think of it too. In the meantime, though, keep on listening, because you know there will be. Have a good one. Goodbye.
Heat of the moment, I thought that I could myself.
But do Monday.
You should say that again on the podcast.